Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where someone gets their poo all over OP's stuff. Am I the butthole for laughing at my ex-husband's wife when she called me hysterically because my kids didn't choose to go to Disney with them on Mother's Day? My ex-husband and I, we're both in our 40s, share a 16-year-old son, 15-year-old daughter, and 14-year-old son together. We separated when I was pregnant with our 14-year-old, and we officially divorced when he was 1. We have a very detailed court-ordered parenting and custody agreement that I've always followed to the T. This is to avoid adding conflict to an already high-conflict situation. For those who will ask, my ex-husband's wife was not the reason we broke up. He did cheat on me during my 3rd pregnancy, and this was due to it being a high-risk pregnancy where I couldn't engage in any sexual activity with him. He felt that was a good reason to sleep with others. I did not. He's always believed that I was unfair to him. Yet, he did go through a paternity drama with one of the women he slept with during that time. He was proven not to be the father, but he expected me to be okay with him having unprotected intercourse with someone else. All of this made it difficult for us to co-parent. It's why we needed everything spelled out and why we communicate via parenting app mostly. Our youngest has a medical issue, so texting and calling is sometimes a requirement. My ex-husband remarried 4 years ago after our divorce was finalized. From the beginning of their relationship, there were issues with his wife and our children. His wife was all over the place with our kids and appeared to take her fertility troubles out on our children by being short and snapping at them or making them feel like a problem in the home. Yet she always wanted them to call her mom, and she wanted them to spend more time with her. There were times that we returned to court over the issues in my ex's home. My ex tried to paint it that it was me alienating the kids from his wife, but he and his wife got 3 warnings for the very thing that he accused me of. The judge said repeatedly that encouraging children to call a person other than their parents, mom or dad, was suggesting alienation of some kind. The warnings were spaced out enough that no consequences were ever given as a result. My ex and his wife were ordered to take parenting classes several years ago also. I always encouraged my kids to not be cruel to the woman their dad is married to, but they don't like her and they don't respect her, really. They show her some respect, but they don't actually have any for her. My older son and my daughter have particularly had some encounters with her where they lost respect for her. They were in therapy for many years because the burden of this woman's infertility and IVF struggles were shared with them. And it was done so in a way that was meant to coerce them to give her what she wanted. The therapists were godsends to us during that time. Last year, all 3 of my children were deemed old enough to decide whether they saw their father 50-50 as they had previously, or whether 1 weekend a month would be the new parenting time split. All 3 chose to reduce their time to 1 weekend a month. This was something that my ex and his new wife didn't like and tried to fight, but the kids say was given more weight. My ex and his wife did eventually have 2 children together. Yesterday, they decided to go to Disney with the kids to celebrate Mother's Day. My ex called and asked me to let our kids come. I gave my kids the choice and they answered, "Never." I already expected that, but I didn't want to deny them the chance if they wanted it. My ex was furious, but I ended the call and ignored further texts from him. Then I got a call from an unknown number around 3 p.m. and it was his wife. She was hysterically crying down the phone about my kids not being there and how they were supposed to be because they're her kids too. I laughed at her antics and ended the call. I got around a dozen texts in the next 2 hours, and then my ex texted me last night and this morning telling me I was heartless and suggesting I should appreciate his wife loves our kids this much. My issue was never her being good to him. It was the way she treated them. The hot and cold, the demands and expectations and attempts to guilt trip them. It was the way she acted, like she had as much of a right to be their mom as I had. And all because at the time she had no kids and had fertility troubles. It's the way that she made my ex's home hell for my kids. My ex allowing it is not something I've forgotten either. But I think it's crazy to think that I should be grateful for any of this. But maybe I am being the butthole. So I'll ask the people of Reddit, am I the butthole? Making kids love you is super duper easy. All you have to do is be nice to them, show them love and affection, give them food, and they'll just grow up loving you. I think it's honestly easier as a parent to make a kid love you than it is hate you. So the fact that this woman is 0 for 3 on OP's kids loving her tells you a lot about her personality. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your ex and his wife 2.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for reminding my dad's wife that she was supposed to be my mom's best friend, but instead was a backstabber who cheated with her best friend's husband? I'm a 17-year-old guy who lives in a toxic household, and I contribute to that, but I want to know if I'm the butthole for this particular part of it. So my parents were married and seemed happy when everything fell apart. My mom found out she had a brain tumor, and on the same day, she found out my dad was sleeping with her best friend. I was 10 at the time, and for like 5 weeks, life was crazy, and my dad and Haley, who was meant to be my mom's best friend, trying to make her forgive them. My mom started having seizures because of the tumor, and I think because of the stress too. And she died 5 weeks and 2 days after she was diagnosed with her brain tumor. My dad and Haley moved in together after my mom died, and they decided they would try to raise me and my sister together. My sister was 8 at the time, and my dad said that she took her cues from me, but we didn't accept Dad and Haley, and we acted up a lot. I yelled at them, called them names, refused to listen when they asked me to do something, and I told other people what they'd done. All of Dad's friends, all of Haley's friends, and our neighbors knew, and mostly because of me. I interrupted their wedding a bunch. My sister didn't as much. We wanted to live somewhere else and they refused. They got us all into therapy and didn't put any work into fixing things. My dad and Haley had 2 kids and I refused to help or care. I make a point of telling or showing what they are and what I think of them. For my dad, that meant cutting him out of photos, and I say every now and again that I'll change my last name to my mom's. Also, I talk about my maternal grandpa being the man that I want to most be like because he's the best guy I know. But with Haley, I remind her every time that she was supposed to be mom's best friend, but she was a backstabber who cheated with my dad instead. And I do this in front of other people if she tries to act like my parent or take praise for my good behavior around other people. She told me I need to stop bringing it up several times, but I ignore her. I tell her I'll never stop. Haley's aunt died last week, and she told me I needed to help out around the house more while she was with her mom and her cousins. I refused, and she told me this is what the oldest sibling and oldest child does. And I reminded her that I wasn't hers, and I brought up the affair again. She broke down, and I told her I didn't feel sorry for her, and she told me she felt guilty enough, and like mom haunted her enough. And she said that I was doing nothing but driving her crazy and making her feel like she had to isolate from everyone because otherwise the whole world would know with the way that I act. She told me I was bullying her and that I should go after her dad, not her. I told her I'll go after both until I can cut them both out of my life for good. Then I told her she didn't deserve to have a happy life after what she did. My aunt, my dad's sister, came over after Haley called her and she asked me to stop bringing it up. She told me Haley and my dad don't need to be forgiven, but that reminding Haley like this and shaming her and making it difficult for her to have relationships where people know and judge isn't okay, because the kids she and her dad have together will suffer. Am I the butthole? Oh, boo-hoo, the cheater wants to cheat and then move in and be the beloved stepmom? Well, it doesn't always work out that way. She's just pissed off that her actions actually have consequences. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I give cheaters 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for not stopping my teenage son's girlfriend from kissing him? I'm a 50-year-old man, and my son, who's 17, recently got into a car accident with a drunk driver. I'm very thankful that he's alive, obviously, but his car is totaled. The drunk driver was driving a pickup, and my son drives a small old convertible, most likely the reason for the amount of damage, and he is fairly injured. Multiple breaks, lots of stitches, etc., and he's currently recovering. This all occurred last week on Saturday, the night of the accident. The rest of my family, my 45-year-old wife and my 14-year-old daughter, got there, I want to say an hour before my son's girlfriend got there. When my son's girlfriend came in, she ran to him in his hospital bed and started hugging and kissing him. Mainly his lips, but other places on his face too. She stayed for most of the night, checking up on him and being supportive. And I was happy that my son and his girlfriend had such a good relationship. As we were driving home that night, my wife said that she was upset that I didn't say anything to my son's girlfriend. Huh? I asked why I would have, as she was being a good partner. My wife said that it felt weird seeing that, especially in front of his family. I said that he was going off to college regardless, and that she was being a really nice partner. And that night showed us how much she truly cared for him. His girlfriend took off work to get there, and was still wearing her work clothes when she got there. My wife started getting angrier and said that she thought that it was gross and that I should just ask her to leave sometime. I told her that I'm not telling my hospitalized son that I'm taking away something that clearly makes him happy. She told me it was gross and that I needed to put a stop to it. I told her she was worrying about the wrong things and that anything that brought our son comfort was good. She told me I needed to step up and do my job, and I've kept thinking about it. And I've started to keep thinking about it and thinking that I'm in the wrong? Opie, is your wife jealous of your son? Because that's the vibe that I'm getting here. A weird sort of Oedipus complex, like I love my son and no other girl's allowed to, because why would she be grossed out by a 17-year-old kissing? I could understand this argument if you guys were in church and they're making out in one of the pews, or if this is like a nice Thanksgiving family meal and they're sucking tongue in the corner. But comforting kisses after getting slammed into by a drunk driver? Yo, your wife's got issues. How is it gross? How does she think her son got made in the first place? I imagine there was kissing involved in that. This post is kind of troubling. The actual things that happened here aren't that egregious, but it kind of speaks to a much deeper seated issue on OP's wife's behalf. And I'm kind of worried that OP's wife has a completely skewed view of reality and what healthy relationships are. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving OP's wife, I think, 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for making my friend buy me a whole new bathing suit after it was returned with a shit stain? I'm a 19-year-old girl, and I went on a girls' trip to Miami with some friends. One of my friends, who's 21, Mia, asked to borrow one of my bathing suits since she forgot to pack one. I was fine with it, so I let her wear a matching 2-piece set that I've only worn a few times. Before giving it to her, I was aware that she has irritable bowel syndrome. She's been open about it before, and I didn't think that it would be an issue. I figured she'd take care of it if something did happen. She'd be honest about it. Well, fast forward to the end of the trip. She gives the bathing suit back. I didn't look closely at it right away because I just shoved it into my suitcase to wash later. When I finally got around to doing laundry, I saw the bottoms had a visible shit stain. I was mortified. It was clearly washed, but not well enough. And although some of the girls disagree, it was definitely ruined in my opinion. I texted her about it and she apologized, saying that she wasn't feeling great that day and that she did her best to clean it, but the fabric is light colored and very thin, so the stain is just there. I told her she'd need to replace the bathing suit, and since the matching bottoms aren't sold anymore, that meant getting me a whole new one. She said that she would only pay for the bottoms because the top is fine. I told her that doesn't work for me. The bathing suit was a matching set, and now I can't wear it at all. She called me inconsiderate and said that I knew she struggled with IBS. A few girls are saying that I should have just said no if I didn't want to risk something happening. They also say that I'm being too harsh since it's just a bathing suit and she didn't do it on purpose. But I feel like if you ruin someone's clothes, you should replace them. Period. So am I the butthole? Reddit's so funny sometimes. People will honestly come online and be like, hey Reddit, someone shit on my stuff and I'm sad about that. Am I wrong? Does that make me a bad person? Because I don't want someone else's literal feces on my property? No, that does not make you a butthole. That makes you normal. If I borrowed someone else's swimsuit and I got my own poo on it, I would rather die than give that swimsuit back to them. I would say, oh, I don't know. I took off my swimsuit and a raccoon came in and stole it and ran off with it. And then a seagull grabbed it and it flew off into the distance. You'll never see that swimsuit again. Here, let me buy you a new one. I'm so sorry. But to literally hand someone a brown stain with a straight face and be like, here you go. Thanks for loaning it to me. Sorry about all of my poop. See that right there? That's my poo-poo. And now it's your poo-poo. Well, it's, it comes from my butthole, but I'm gifting it to you, which makes it now your poo-poo. You're the owner of it. So thanks for the bathing suit. Bye-bye. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. You are super duper normal, my friend. I'm giving this poop stain of a person 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. Gross. What makes this so stupid is that this story took place in Miami, of all places. Have you guys ever been to Miami? There's swimsuit stores literally every single block. They're easier to find than stoplights, than post boxes. There will be a bikini store next to a bikini store, next to a bikini store, next to, take a guess, you guys want to guess? Another bikini store. Oh no, I forgot to pack a bikini. Wherever will I find another bikini? Girl, literally anywhere. Open your eyes and look straight and you'll see a bikini store. Then turn 180 degrees and you'll see another bikini store. Go get your poop on those. Go buy your own poopy underwear, man. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.